Testing, testing, okay. Had to check something real quick. Setting up questions, okay. Got ourselves a new model for this. But, hello, yeah. Greetings, happy holidays, people. As you're sure aware by the name of this, yes, I am the pitcher for, one of the popular Touhou emus. I'm usually doing this with comrades on here, and it just feels so awkward doing this alone. But, yeah, anyway. So, I'm not gonna rush this, per se. I'm not gonna do the whole 10-minute rule that me and my pal Speeds were given for this. This is going by just full-hearted. Just, like, look, forget the connections, forget, like, how strong these characters are. This is just by, all of this is just gonna be all by why I personally love this. Guess we're gonna rush this. I do know, however, I have asked some people in the Rec Room channel if it's like after this I might just start bragging about the other pitch emus, cause it's God, there's so many I would love to talk about, but yeah, let's just focus on my pitched emu. So let's just get started. So, my name is Touhou Power. Good way to start it. And today I'll be pitching my most wanted Rachel Alucard versus Remilia Scarlet. Why I specifically want to do this one, this matchup has a whole dedication by me, yeah. This has been basically a big legacy MU for both series. Not only that, for me specifically, I have been pushing this for 13 years. Yep. Boomer. This matchup has been had its ups and downs, lefts and rights, all that. But today we're finally gonna show it to, well, we already did, but you know what I mean. Finally show this to the team. So, anyway, before we start, one of the things I made for this MU, and everyone knows this from me, is I'm a trailer maker. I made a trailer to hype up this pitch. We originally were going to do a 1-hour video of this, but that took too long. And yeah, we didn't have the time. We were very strict on time. I'm not going to show it per se here on the stream. I do have it linked in the descriptions. I think. No, I don't. I do know it's public though. So, we will be skipping this one specifically and go directly to what these two characters are. Connections and sources. Not much needs to be said for the two. You just know immediately when you see them that you just understand the whole gimmick for the two. They're vampires. But when you go more into it, you start understanding that these two are not just, your standard typical OP vampiras, but they more are the sassy, stereotypical upper-class high horse brats that mostly just rely on staying in the back line for just to have the main character or others do their dirty work. Now, I didn't put all the sources on here, but one of the... Why am I being pinged right now? But for a good example of their contrast, because these two actually have a really unique contrast, and it's actually them being vampires themselves. With Remilia enjoying her vampiric nature and often drinking the blood of humans, while Rachel despises this. We'll get more into certain things with her. But this is what I could say to the team if I had the time, is this is also a hero versus villain type of fight. So Remilia doesn't actually become like a main villain permanently after Touhou 6, but she has been classified more so as a villain role in other media. So yeah. I mean, we need more hero versus villain roles. I think that's really interesting. But let's get into the characters. We've been on this for so long. So who's Rachel? Well, Rachel is a vampire from the video game franchise called BlazBlue, a fighting game series back in November 19th, 2008, made by Mori. God, I miss that man so much. And Arc System Works. It consists of 6 games, 12 novels, and 13 mangas and an anime. Now, personal reasons, she's one of my favorite characters. She's actually my big introduction to the series. Also, a good example for why I want her specifically out of the rest of the characters is she's a lore-heavy character. BlazBlue, we had it twice on the show with a certain cat and a certain main character, but neither of them go that deep. Well, the main character one does. The problem of him is that the episode for that one kind of felt So Rachel brings something to the table, goes more in depth with the story, because BlazBlue's story is very wild. She also brings something to the table that neither of the characters have, which is their playstyle, what she is, and what she also intends to have inside her. Now, daughter to the once powerful vampire Clavis Alucard, Rachel used to be the head, is the head of the Alucard clan and the mistress of the castle of Alucard, which you can see in the bottom right corner. This magnificent stage, and I will argue, people, no matter what, that this is the best stage in the game. Periodo. But this manor exists in a dimension where it's forever nighttime. There is no sunlight whatsoever. Fitting for vampires. Despite having this stereotypical upper-class individual personality, always looking down upon others with boredom, arrogance, snobbery, and apathy, this vampire holds a far greater power. As she, like her father, is an onlooker. This word can be changed to overseer and observer throughout medias. These 3 words specifically just fit her. It tends to vary, yeah. Onlookers are powerful entities capable of watching the events that unfold in the world, yet are cursed to never be allowed to intervene. Keep that one in mind, people. Keep that one in mind. So, fun little fact about her. I brought this up in the contrast. So, Rachel actually despites being a vampire. Hates the taste of blood, all that kind of stuff. Being immortal, I can understand. It can be boring sometimes. Only accepting her vampiric urges one time, and that was when she saved Ragna under the church. During the incident. Which begs more so of the question, is that the reason why he has one red eye? Or not? Who knows? Anyway. So what do these observers do? Well, they kind of just sit back in spectate mode and kind of just watch time unfold. That is kind of the big problem with BlazBlue, as the time in BlazBlue is constantly looping. So I can agree with Nervous Nick, who was the writer for Rognasoul, of how confusing it was. Then again, it was his first one, but in the end, he had a bloody point. So, describing BlazBlue can be difficult. It's easy sometimes. It's just, like, saying it in a way makes it difficult. For example, like me, Ragna has to go to a cauldron, because this cauldron is what makes the timeline reloop. Goes to the cauldron. Well, turns out there's this robot chick that looks like his sister and has a sister complex. They fight. Ragna gets stabbed by her, and they both get dropped into the cauldron. Then this giant black beast comes out of nowhere and destroys all of BlazBlue. Well, until 6 heroes showed up. I don't know why those 6 specifically, but apparently there's a cat I'm not gonna question. They stop the Black Beast. Seether comes out of it. Seether, we already know, it's magic. And people just now have magic. What happens now? Well, the timeline resets. You guys get that? Neither did I. So instead of getting her hands dirty and trying to stop it herself, she actually has Ragna do the dirty work for her. She spends most of her time trying to get other people to not do everything that starts that loop. But no matter what, the timeline keeps resetting over and over to the point where she has been witnessing this outcome unfold 725 times. This all ended one day when it was about to happen again. Ragna fights New like stabs him, about to get dragged, until a girl named Noelle shows up and stops Ragna from falling in the cauldron, forever changing the timeline forever. Now that we don't know what happens now, it's now time for everything changed when Teremi showed up. Teremi, who's he? Well, he's your basic douchebag. Who doesn't love him? Now that Teremi has finally has the timeline fixed, everything wants to be destroyed. So what does he want to do? He wants to become God. Who doesn't want to become God nowadays? So Rachel decides, I'm tired of this. No longer, no more. I am now going to get on the stage and fight with my allies. So she finally teams up with Ragna to try to stop Teremi. However, like the line I told you to remember, they're not allowed to intervene. That's where the downside of her story comes in. As the second she intervened, her powers finally starts, like, stopping. Stop, what? Her powers are depleting. That's what I meant to say. Now, this could be a bad thing, yes. However, she has an arsenal that kind of counteracts that problem. How big of an arsenal? Well, let's go with the basic gimmicks. Able to teleport, weather manipulation, has immortality and regeneration, is able to manipulate blood. Because, you know, VTuber total. Is able to create this large shield called the Tsukuyomi units. So these units are a big gimmick in BlazBlue. There is the unit that erases time, the unit that protects time, and the unit that guides time. And Rachel has the protect one. Despite not showing very much of the Tsukuyomi unit, it is stated that this thing will block anything, and I mean anything. Due to her being an overseer, she's not able to, like, throw hands, so she has familiars to do that. This black cat by the name of Nago transforms into anything that she desires in combat, mostly relying on it being a umbrella. And Guy is this little red devil. No one likes this red devil, apparently, because she uses it as a volleyball, a cannon, and so much more. Even a punching bag. What is it? A coffin that summons life-draining bats, homing missiles, so much more. She can even turn her own dress and wings into the blades itself. And we haven't even gotten more into what she can do. As an overseer, she's intangible, all that, completely invulnerable to all attacks. And one of her big gimmicks... Oh, wait, I forgot. Is that the frog? Yes, it is. That is George the 13th. I forgot about my boy. I feel bad. This man is the almighty neutral for Rachel's gameplay. Hippity hoppity, get the F off my property. All it does is the second you touch it, it just shocks you. Anyway, none of that really matters until Rachel's big gimmick. Phenomena Intervention. So, there is another unit in BlazBlue, which is called the Takamara Hara system. So, this unit is literally just a white room with 3 chairs. And apparently, it's a system that kind of helps the overseers. To where, basically, imagine you're playing Telltale, a Telltale game. And you choose a path that you do not like. Well, you go reset all your progress, erasing everything you've done, and doing a new path. That's what this is. It's an ability that is used for various characters and a major plot device for the BlazBlue series. Basically a power of God, in the most basic terms. Changing whatever event the user is picking different outcomes from, infinite possibilities, infinite ideas, via manipulating things that exist and does not exist, changing reality completely. It also is using the power of the Azure, which without it, it uses this power with extremely limited. Hence, some users activating it seek to gain Azure like the Takamara Hara system, as we brought up before. That being said, the limit vision of Phenomena Intervention is still very powerful. No matter what attack is shown, no matter if it's powerful, no matter if it's weak, fatal or not, the Phenomena Intervention actually overpowers all, bringing the user back to its certain destiny, that kind of shit. In other words, this is somewhat like fate manipulation. The ability, however, is not flawless, though it uses the need Seether, which can be drained. It is hard to do due to it draining the user's stamina. Yep. It's almost like an overseer needs to not intervene, in a way. Someone messed up. So, after Rachel's story, she sadly can't go any further on because she kept intervening more and more. Overseer powers are able to keep against Terami, who gained the Susanoo unit to erase time. They're able to keep up with him. Well, when Rachel finally kept intervening, she was weak enough to where she lost to Terami. Wasn't even able to teleport out of it. She couldn't do anything anymore, so she had no choice but giving her powers to a Unzume, a dancer, per se, named Amane Nishiki. Thanks to Rachel, in fact, a lot of things that Rachel's done is thanks to her. She's the reason why Jin gets the Hakumen suit. She's the reason why we get some of the funny gags from BlazBlue. She's even the reason why our main character is still walking to this day, per se. As our final moments during the fight against Terami concludes, everyone could live a peaceful world now. as Ragna hugs Rachel, thanking her for everything she has done. Erased her memories of him, and to later wake up in a new world where Ragna created. A world where Ragna never existed. As she stands in front of a makeshift grave made for Ragna, forever wondering, why is this here? But forever vowing to search. A possibility of hope, per se. She may be an undead watcher. Was it love, per se? Was it an act of friendship that really sparked it? No one knows. But we do know, however, that she would never. I fucked that up. She never knew that the man she saved that fateful night was what made her human. And that is the end of Rachel's segment. Oh, they fucked. So, is there any questions so far? Before we go to Remilia's, because Remilia's is going to get wild. Okay, going in a minute. Checking. Everything will. Okay. I'm gonna start Remilia's. Here we go. So I just want to warn everyone that the render you're about to see may shock a lot of people. Why the Overseer a child? Well, funny enough, that's actually because of her gimmick. So due to her having an unlimited pool of magic, she was able to unage herself. So she's like 1,000 years old, but yet still looks like an underage child. If I drink my milk, can I punch out? We're not there yet, Sphees. Anyway. So, for Remilia. Who is Remilia? Remilia is a vampire from a video game series called Touhou Project, a Danmaku bullet hell series made since August 15, 1996, or August 11th, 2002 for Windows. Created by Team Shanghai Alice, and its only member, the one, the only, the almighty Zune. It consists of 11 mangas, 9 music CDs, 6 art books, and 33 games. Now, we're going to bring up something later on, but I'm just going to clarify specifically. That though they have been used for a lot of footage and fan-made trailers, Touhou has no animated medias of official source. In short, Summer Daydream and Memory Phantasm is fan work, but can be used in a sort of filler and background. Now, not a personal one, but Remilia is one of my favorite characters. Another character that introduced me to the series. A series that I love dearly since 2012. She has been constantly in the top 15. If you want to know how popular she is, we have Touhou popularity polls for each character. And Remilia has been constantly around top 15 for the past generations. Even recently in the 2024 popularity poll, she has been placed in 7th place. Which I still think it's being rigged. Rainbow should not have won that, but I'm not going to argue. And before you ask, yes. How I feel knowing I'll be able to watch this. Please enlighten me. So, I'm going to explain this for a little example for everyone. Since this is a new series finally getting to Death Bell. We don't know how Touhou's gonna interact in a way. So, let me introduce you to Touhou, for example. So what is it? Well, let's make it easy for everyone. It's Galaga on crack. Basically, you gotta dodge bullets that your opponent is shooting while shooting them back. The series is known for its vast and wonderful cast of characters that are based off of gods and yokais from mostly Japanese folklore. One of the talks of the series, however, is what is canon and what is not. Now, Touhou is a very chill series. This is a series where you can just go in without going into like the official sources whatsoever. Not even just playing the games. You can just go by the music, and you're just already in the community. That's how like much of a open door this series is for everyone. For such fan-made materials, we have 2 unofficial animes, tens, if not hundreds of fan games, and official licensed material, but nonetheless non-canon, which, as example, the gacha game, Lost World. A topic for the debate of the community is canonically using the first 5 games. So, like I said, there was 2 release dates I've announced at the beginning. This is because Touhou tends to have not 2 per se, but 1 timeline, but 2 different genres, kind of a way. Not reboots, if you're going to ask. So, the first 5 games came from the PC-98 system, which we called the PC-98 era. The rest of the games came from the Windows system, which we called the Windows era. Opposing to the modern games being the Windows, however, the PC-98 games are completely canon according to the series creator. However, if a contradiction were to occur, the more modern games obviously have more validity. Oh, yeah. Is it gray or gray? Oh no. I need water. Anyway. So, I'm not going to read all of these, but these down here is a list of all the official sources. From Wild and Horn Hermit, Forbidden Scrollery, and Strange Articles of Outer Worlds, for example. Now, there I'm going to set some ground rules for people that are newbie to the series. So, 1, do not play our games on easy mode. If we find out, we will bully you. And 2, that little plush you see in the middle of the screen, those are called Fumos. Just praise them. Those are your new god now. And before we go, to show how wild like the Galaga on Crack segment is, I'm going to ask everyone here a question. Can you dodge this? Light turn aside. So, we haven't even gotten to Remilia yet, so why not we talk about her? So, okay. The Scarlet Devil. That's what she is. Her origin is unclear to many, however, she is from the outside world, mostly European of origin, and claims to be the descendant of the world's most famous vampire, Count Vlad Tempest Dracula, aka Big Dick Drac. You know him, you love him. Mistress of the Scarlet Mansion, a mansion that originated from the outside world, yet somehow, and no one knows how, magically showed up in Gensokyo. Almost like it belonged there. As if fate itself moved it. Remilia is a childish, immature brat, mostly is a child of everything. Despite this, she is surprisingly polite and refined. Said to be highly charismatic. Remilia is prone to boredom. She often does things for the sake of entertaining herself. How bored is she? Well, she may or may not have started the entire plot of the 6th game, called EOSD, the Scarlet Mist Incident. The first game of the Windows era of Touhou was the Bottom of Scarlet Devil. So this is where we're gonna mostly start off with, is EOSD and beyond. Where the major incident consisted of the scarlet-colored mist covering all of Gensokyo, killing any human that was inside the mist, and the survivors would never see the light of day again. So, what do you gotta do? Well, the main characters, Reimu and Marissa, head to the Scarlet Mansion, beat up everyone there, and stop Remilia. How do they stop Remilia? Well, funny enough, it was through a headlock. Apparently, in this weird headlock position, if Remilia tried to get out of it, her umbrella would move out of the sunlight and she would die. Yeah. Touhou's wonky with it. Now, after EOSD, this is where everything kind of shifts into Remilia being a big threat to Remilia just being a laid-back character. So, another example of the incident... Oh, actually, wait, I forgot about this incident before. The vampire incident. So, this incident isn't really much talked about. That's why I kind of forgot about it for a moment. So, Remilia may or may not have been part of this incident beforehand, where a vampire has entered Gensokyo and laying waste. This incident got so bad to where Yukari, one of the great sages, had to get involved with this. But after that, yeah, no, she became laid back. She tends to mind her own business for the sake, even sending out Sakya, her maid, out to aid the incidents with the Shrine Maiden and the Ordinary Witch, though she sometimes takes her own hands in the matter, such as the Eternal Night incident, where she tried to solve it alongside Sakya in Imperishable Night. The Scarlet Weather Rhapsody charade. I don't know what happened there. I don't think anyone remembers. I know we had some people here that would actually explain it here, but I'm pretty sure it had something to do with a catfish getting involved. But outside of that, most yokai kind of respect her. But that's mostly because they are afraid of her, as vampires in Gensokyo are the most powerful species of yokai. Though not most powerful overall, equaling the strength of Onis and Tengus. A single vampire being added to Gensokyo is said to tip the scales of the power balance in its entirety. Now, this is where Touhou's big gimmick is, and this one is kind of the questioning of, do you add this or do you not? And that is the spell card rules. So after the events of Mystic Square, the Shrine Maiden herself invented the spell card rules. The rules created for the sake of helping both humans and yokai alike. So basically, the most pointless of fairies, Cherno, is able to actually keep up with the most powerful of gods. That's kind of how the sake of these battles work. Where the more beautiful pattern of Danmaku ends up being the winner, more akin to a contest than an outright fight. If it wasn't for these rules, everyone would be just killing each other. It'd be Britain, basically. Everyone just stabbing each other. For this, all the characters have participated in a Danmaku fight created for their spell cards, pattern Danmaku given the name and purpose. As said, if the spell cards weren't a thing, this would potentially blow up reality. Either for amusement or being scared of the Shrine Maiden, these rules are not universal law at limits. So, these can be broken or ignored for a death battle. I asked a certain DB artist, a certain stick figure, and the talk about it is, I don't want them to break the spell card rules, mostly because I love the Danmaku in the game. Very colorful, very eye-catching, mesmerizing. You kind of take that away, and it literally is just target spotted, aimbot laser go burr. So, if you ask me if how would the spell card rules go, I said don't break them specifically for this one, for this fight specifically. But outside of that, no matter, almost all the characters have their own feats with their spell cards, and Remilia is no stranger to this. How big is her spell cards? Well, there's the list. We have Heaven's Punishment, Star of David, the Curse of Vlad Tempest, Red Magic, all of that. But this is where her real gimmicks come in. As being a yokai, a vampire, Mix those two together, and you have one of the most batshit, literally, insane characters in the series. Able to transform into a flock of bats, can be somewhat immortal due to yokai heritage, able to regenerate from anything. Zombification, blood manipulation. Something involving, like, the moon gets you stronger. Damaku, no shit. The Scarlet Mist, fate manipulation, able to create spears, knives, chains out of anything. As able to sharpen her own wings, funny enough. Fangs and sharp claws, all that, all alike. But what's this? What's this specifically? Manipulation of fate. Well, so Touhou has certain characters have big gimmicks. One's able to manipulate the ground itself. One literally becomes a sun god. All that. Remilia's gimmick is her manipulating fate itself. Its ability to manipulate density itself to achieve the desired results. More subtle forms of the ability can simply nudge events in the user's favor. This ability, however, while overpowered on paper, is not flawless, as it doesn't work against the main character due to generic protagonist powers. In Touhou, probability exists as a higher layer of reality that controls everything that happens, including fate. What the hell just fell? Remilia's fate control got rewritten by the probability layer, so it benefited Reimu instead. So, long story short, this ability is broken. However, it's not flawless. So anyone that's has a higher level of reality control is able to overpower her. Now, the problem is, I tried finding any, like, source of her fate manipulation. And the closest thing we've gotten in source, like, anything related to it, in source of manga, game, or like that, is her with her pet. Yes, that is her pet. And it's called Chupacabra. In fact, that is the Chupacabra. It used to be called something else, but due to the power of fate, it's now Chupacabra. So yeah, Chupacabra. Now, you remember how I brought up that Scarlet Mist? Well, let's go more into it. Despite being this giant cloud of red mist covering the entire sky, leaving everything in a dark shadow, even though Remilia used it so she was able to go outside without the need of a parasol, this effect of the mist kind of, what's a good way of saying this, broke reality. It started to erode the boundary of red and white, which was able to hold Gensokyo and the outside world. The line defines the concept of existence and non-existence itself. Just 30 minutes in it can outright kill anyone. Now, this is where Touhou kind of goes from, oh, you know, very cool series, to, what do you mean the lolly solos my verse? As the concept that defines the multiversal meaning of existence and non-existence in its entirety and allowed both concepts to, quote-unquote, exist, basically translated to OP existent erasure as a cloud, somehow. Fun fact, did you know that the common sense in Gensokyo does not exist? Yeah. Welcome to Touhou, people. Now, another good example of how stupid the series can get is the yokai itself. So you remember how I said vampires are compared to the strength of an Oni and speed of a Tengu? Well, what if I told you that the speed of a Tengu is so fast, they were able to reach Archie Sonic levels of speed. Nothing in Gensokyo could top them. There's buildings. There's buildings in Gensokyo. A good example of this is Entei, where it's infinite in size. No one, like, once you enter, no one can get out unless you're an actual member of Entei. Well, she just entered. Seconds later, she exited. Not even a member. She just out-blitzed Infinite. Yeah. What about Onis? Well, what if I told you? So, there's this Japanese goblin that got so drunk, she decided, I'm gonna punch the moon. So she punched it. That wasn't the moon. That was the entire concept of heaven right there, shattered, like fine china. She just punched heaven. Not even that, but let's go more, like, let me get this real quick. But we even had to, like, do scans for this. Apparently, she did it so fast, no one in Gensokyo knew about it. And then she had to recreate heaven again by moving the remaining shattered pieces back into position. This is booze power we're talking. And Remilia, somehow, is able to keep up with these two species. We don't even have a slide for her specifically, but a good, like, to show what other vampires done, she has a little sister. Where there, one time, a meteor tried to destroy the Scarlet Devil Mansion. And what does this little girl do? She just extends her arm out, squeezes her hand, and the meteor just blew up to smithereens. Just gone. Reduced to atoms. But none of that would really matter because of her weakness. So despite her having extreme powers, very fast speed, and all of these abilities, Remilia has a large number of weaknesses. Mostly vampires. Her vampire tradition. I didn't bring this up with Rachel because I don't think her vampire heritage really actually works like actual vampires. Because Rachel's able to go in sunlight. Rachel's, like, not weak to crosses. Because she has so many on her in her ability that I don't think that she really traditionalizes as a vampire. Remilia, however, this is full traditional vampire. Down to the T. Cannot be in contact with running water. Cross is generally a religious thing. Apparently she burns if she has roasted soybeans. And of course, the average sunlight. Childish, arrogant personality, all that, leaves her vulnerable. Hell, her main gimmick of manipulating fate kind of just is thrown out the window because she's so full of herself. She thinks, you know, like, I could just win this without it, who knows. And then gets bodied. So, I think a good example of these is this character right here in the bottom right corner. So, this is Yorihime. She is a Lunarian. Basically lives on the moon. So, Remilia decided, I want to go to the moon and invade the lunar capital. So, she brings her, Sakya, Marissa, and Reimu to the moon. Well, they encounter Yorihime, and Yorihime is going to start a war with them. Well, Marissa introduces them to the spell card rules, all that, just generic stuff. Sakya goes first. Forfeits, because she doesn't actually want to be on the moon, like, invade the capital. She's just there for her mistress. Okay? Marissa goes there. Marissa fights her. Forfeits. Says that she doesn't want to invade the capital. She just wants to have a good view on the moon. Reimu fights her. I'm pretty sure she forfeited. I may be wrong here. But I would not be surprised if she forfeited because she didn't want to, like, be a part there. She just wanted to go home and sleep. Remilia was the only one that took her fight serious. When Yorihime found out, oh yeah, no, she burns a little bit because of sunlight. She is the only one that got her butt kicked. Lovely. A good example of this is running cannot come in contact with running water. I'm pretty sure this girl's an idiot because she decided at the end of Forbidden Scrollery, I may be wrong. She decided, I want to make an indoor pool with running water in our library in the middle of winter. Complete idiot. Swear. Now, I think that's, yep. So overall, I know we're at the end of Remilia's segment, but overall, despite all of this, she has shown quite sometimes more often that she is a big threat, but also a massive hand to help the Shrine Maiden in combat. Oh, that was SSIB? Okay, thank you, X. So, that is the end of Remilia. Any questions so far, so we go to the potential? Go, guys, go. A minute. Let me just answer some of these. Okay. A grand total of 2 times. Oh god, no. Okay, no, I immediately saw was put. How does Remilia's fate work again? Is one of those group people skeptical about her claim fate manipulating? Basically, reality kind of bends to her. In a way. To where, in a way, powerful variation that can make it possible to ordain one's victory. In like the dumbest way short like possible. It is just the Gojo Satoru not I win image as a power up. Garlic weaknesses. I think we didn't actually put that on there, did we? No. No, she doesn't. She's not weak to garlic. I think she just hates the taste of it. But yeah, let's go to potential. This is where, like, everything I can really say about this MU goes into. So first off, music potential. Oh my days. So Touhou music is one of the biggest aspects of the franchise. Almost everyone that knows of it says how absolutely amazing it is. Fun fact, the music you hear in the background is Touhou music. It's just lo-fi cafe music. Remix to it. Fans making thousands of remixes and arrangements to the themes of all characters. Some are known everywhere, even outside of the fandom. So, you probably heard of these names. Necrophantasia, I Know One Was Her, and the most iconic one, Bad Apple. Those are Touhou songs, just remixed. Well, the Bad Apple one is. Just to name a few. Hell, even Death Bell has used Touhou music. Amy vs. Ramona Flowers used Night of Nights, a remix of Sakuya's POFV theme, Flowering Nights. Blazeman music. So, I tried my best to actually give a positive, like, response to this. But, no matter what I would say, I end up being biased for this. Which is, the Blazeman music is a bloody godsend. Like, I can't even listen to the music when I was working on this pitch, because when I do, I would start headbanging, just being like, this is so good. All that. Some of the amazing tracks on there is like Awakening Chaos, Stand Unrival, and The Funny Must Die. Like, I have a full-on music playlist for when I'm working, and it's just BlazBlue music, and probably a random Darude Sandstorm or something, and then it just goes back to, like, BlazBlue music. That's how much I love their music. Remilia's theme, Sephet of the Dead Princess, is known for being a reference of Beethoven's Virus. So you already have that classic orchestra type of feel. And Rachel's theme, Queen of Roses 2, is also known for its rock and orchestral style track. Well, both of them are also gothic by nature. That kind of thing. So, you put them together, what do you get? Gothic orchestral rock. Basically, in short, Castlevania. Who doesn't love Castlevania music? We even had a commission track for this MU by Therewolf, which I'm trying my best not to say how much I do not like the track name. But we also recently had a new track made for the upcoming release of Riot Rumble's Rachel versus Remilia track. The DB's fandom already has shown time and time again they are hellbent on loving the show's music. I mean, I know there's someone in this someone in this chat that has put 200 hours into listening to Game Over. I know who you are, but there is absolutely no way that these two franchises with god tier music doesn't produce an OST that's going to be in everyone's top 10. But yeah, this is what if we were making a little pie graph of what this matchup is carried by, this is taking up 3 pies and 75% of the 4th pie. What about animation percent? No, don't you dare start music. Nope. Okay, so what a fight potential. Well, fight potential is kind of unique in a way. Rachel's gameplay is mostly range and setting out traps. She barely attacks herself and lets Nago and Gi do all the punching and blocking. Remilia is heavily range because, Touhou. Having this vast arsenal and rarely attacks up close in a way that the fight could be handled mostly relying on Rachel using phenomenal intervention to reset the fight back to the beginning so she can avoid any fatal attack, and Remilia using fate manipulation to basically mold the new timeline back to the old original timeline so they can go back to how it's supposed to go. So if you want a good example of this, funny enough, I think the 3 death battles kind of show a good example. Yeah, 3 death battles showed a good example of this. Dio Alucard, because no shit. Roshi versus Jiraiya, funny enough, is a good example of this, where it's a character that summons mostly traps and all that, versus a brute force character. And Reverse Flash versus Goku Black, where it's constantly looping over and over. That's what I could see as a pure example of this fight can be. Now, animation, sprites, no doubt. BlazBlue is a 2D only game. It never felt well in a 3D style fight. Touhou is the same thing. There has been shown stuff with 3D, but the problem is for a fight like this, no. You could get some hand-drawn segments that mimic Damaku duels. But let's go with the idea of how would this fight go per se? Well, the fight takes place in the castle of Alucard, where Rachel is minding her business. She felt something was off and asked her butler, Valkenhayn, to let her be. Once she's all alone, she tells Remilia to show herself. Then you have this cool hand-drawn shot of her opening her eye, and you can see a reflection of Remilia on the other end of the table. So Remilia finally reveals herself, telling Rachel that, hey, I know you're the one that's watching me during the Scarlet Mist incident. So do not even intervene whatsoever. So Rachel is told not to intervene or she'll try to stop her. All that, and then that's how the fight goes. What we originally had a slide for this, but it was taken down mostly for an example of reference shots that you could do for the series for both characters. But the problem was that it took up more of how the fight would end than how the fight would go, which is why we kind of took that slide down. But a good example of what you could do for a cool ass reference per se is have it to where the Scarlet Mist is coming in, and Remilia is trying to like kill Rachel off with the mist. So to stop that, Rachel makes a tornado, and the entire mist gets absorbed into that tornado. So you have a Scarlet Mist tornado. Other good examples will say, like, for example, one of Remilia's attacks is her summoning chains. You can have it to where Rachel makes a seal that eradicates the chains. And this is where the banter comes in, where you have it like Rachel talking down to Remilia, comparing her to Terami, spamming chains. Remilia talking down to Rachel, comparing her to Yukari, having her servants do the work, that kind of stuff. Now for banter. High horse attitude brats. This RA right here, chef's kiss. You already could tell the banter is going to be amazing. Where the only difference is that Rachel's more adult. She actually can take a hit in terms of banter. Doesn't care, all that. Remilia, she's full of herself. She's an actual man-child. She thinks that she's better than everyone. Now, relevancy. How popular are both series, or the characters themselves? So, Remilia... No, not Remilia. Rachel. I'm going to get Rachel out first. So, BlazBlue's last relevant thing was back in 2022, when the game got rollback. Sparked more of its community. Outside of that, nothing much happened after Mori left Arc System. However, the Versus community has shown time and time again that they want this fighting game series back. They're down with bringing back BlazBlue. They think, oh, there's still more characters there that we want. For example, Ragna came back during the Tournament of Champions. And everyone was hyped for that one. Now, for Touhou, I don't need to explain this. But we have to. Most requested series to be shown that hasn't been covered yet. So, fun fact. There's a ballot banner that the official server does, and they actually showed how requested series are. Touhou is so requested that it outbeat Star Wars in popularity. So, yeah, that's amazing. It's also a very popular indie series in Japan. Period. The only thing that surpassed it was Minecraft, of all things, but even nowadays, it's still a huge franchise. Bad Apple alone can just carry Touhou. It's basically Doom, where it just, if it exists, it can play Bad Apple. Toby Fox, one of the big inspirations of, like, modern indie game communities, is the, what was that? Okay. Was the, like, his series was inspired by Touhou. He even collabed with Zune himself. Like, that shows how big Touhou is. Fumos! Freaking Fumos! Like, do I need to say more about him? But if you want something specifically for Remilia's case, she's a big impact in terms of relevancy. She appeared multiple times in fan games. She's the main antagonist of Luna Knights, Scarlet Symphony, and Scarlet Custody. No, Curiosity, not Custody. Rachel, so I know we didn't say much for Rachel specifically, but Rachel is a very popular character to where you have characters like Noelle and Jin, who are like the other main characters for Ragna, and Rachel has been so popular to where she is basically like the second like protag than the other two characters. That's how much she's treated in like the lore and the community. So, popularity still very high. Relevance still very high as well. Now, this is where everything goes downhill per se. And that's the debate. I will not lie to you all. And this is what hurts me the most. And it's the clear-cut winner. We all know the Touhou character wins this. But Deathbell has shown time and time again that one-sided fights doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, most of my favorite MUs, most of like the community's favorite matchups, were one-sided. Um, if anything, a good way to put this is it's stats versus hacks. If you want a good example of this, due to Rachel's intervening more and more in the fight and her power slowly depleting, this turns into more of a can Rachel even beat Remilia with her intervening more and more? Like a time fight. However, due to Remilia being a traditional vampire, you could also even joke of the win cons. Like a good example of the win con, like I had a good example of this win con is Rachel can just teleport Remilia outside of the castle of Alucard into somewhere where it's broad daylight. Remilia is like slowly dying from the sunlight just for her to activate Scarlet Mist. It's killing people around. Rachel finds out about it, uses phenomenal intervention, and it resets back to the segment of them just at the table sipping tea. Funny enough, I think that's what makes this matchup even more interesting. Is strength and speed is a like no doubt we know who the winner is for that one. Hacks and abilities is where everything is countered. Where they both take it in a way, but then once the Overseer powers come in the debate, Rachel actually takes this. Where she's able to overpower Remilia in terms of abilities because she's able to counter all the Damaku, all that. Her hacks is able to equal into the stuff Touhou's able to get. So it just comes down to Overseer powers versus Remilia. But outside of that, I think the good example I want to say this, and this is why I like this matchup personally, the debate does not matter. Everything I've said with potential, why I love these characters more, and the lore itself, shows how much this matchup means to me. I don't care if Remilia just slaps the BlazBlueverse like twice over. I don't care if this is like the second Touhou MU or all that. It's the fact of I want to push this to show how much this community and me loves to bring a series that we love dearly onto the show. Because BlazBlue, I love it. It was actually my first fighting game. Still my favorite fighting game. And everyone wants it back. I want it back as well. Because there's amazing ideas I'd be down with, like Tager being on here, Terami. I think everyone wants Terami on here. Rachel is a good example of bringing BlazBlue back, and showing how wild our lore can be, per se. Remilia, so I don't want, because I was asked this when I announced this on Reddit. Is would I be down with this being the first Touhou episode? I was asked this constantly about, do you want this to be the first Touhou episode or Kaisen Fleetway, since that's also been put in the Tournament of Champions. I'm just going to say this the same way I've said to Carbonic, who is the main pusher for Kaisen Fleets. I don't care. I just want to see the funny girls on the show and just be discussed that way. I want us to have an introduction to the Bullet Hell series, that's what. So, but if you want an honest, per se question, I want Rachel Remilia in first as a brief introduction. Not like a how wild the series can get. That's where I want Kaisen Fleetway to get into. Since I think Kaisen's a really, really cool character. If anything, heck, if I want to be honest, she's just better Reimu. But other than that, like I think I'll just go to the next segment, which is the scrapbook per se. It's a bunch of art that people have made for this MU that I just gathered up, and I just wanted to be very happy about this. Yeah. So amazing art, track art, sprites, all that from an amazing amount of people. But yeah, that's Rachel Remilia. I'm gonna be asking questions. So I asked people on Twitter, people on Reddit, even like you'll see pin chat, that kind of thing. I'll be answering any question at the end of this segment. I'm gonna go immediately to Twitter real quick because I know that one has just like one question. That's it. And that is, what made you fall in love with this matchup specifically? And it's literally the characters themselves. Like, that's why I think a good example of why I want to do the live pitch is because when I was told that we were only going to have 10 minutes for our pitch, I was like, there's no way I'm going to like pour my heart out on just 10 minutes of this. This is like a 30-minute talk at best. We were, was it before our live pitch even happened? We were, was it me and Spees, the pitcher for Home Run Kurumi, were timed and all that, and my goodness, I think for me it was 48 minutes, but that was mostly because we had someone like chatting with me during that. I even tried speed running it as fast as I can. It was just ended up with 36 minutes, so it was like, there's no way I'm gonna like say this all in 30 minutes. But no, I think that's funny is like when we do the Home Run Kurumi live pitch, that one's gonna be wild as well because that's just an hour. That's just a straight up hour. But yeah, no, like I love this MU dearly. It like both characters are the introductions. Both characters brings up something that I love dearly, which is the music. All that, yeah. Okay. Where was it confirmed she was weak to Cross's religion? For the spell cards and all that. If I do say no, it's mostly because of just being a traditional vampire. That's really it. Not because of a cross per se. Because she does have moves that are cross related, but they're still not technically like the Holy Cross. Want to see DB's take on it? I will agree with a certain friend with this, because when I was pitching this and I announced it to them, they just told me that they do not want Touhou on the show. And it's because of how the research would go either badly or that. For me, that's why I kind of want Rachel Remilia first. Because I know there's I know there's two other people pitching it, because their MU has been announced. Which is, no, like, without a doubt, the Case and Fleetway one. And I heard Yukari's getting one. Yukari's the one character I think is going to be the main problem of doing Touhou research. Remilia, she's easy, she's basic to do. She also goes deep into how crazy Touhou can be. Like, no, so fun fact, I also want to say this, so... Everyone knows about the Versus Battle Wiki. Everyone knows that they don't trust the Versus Battle Wiki. So, Yukari's the reason why the Versus Battle Wiki and Touhou do not coexist together. Like, when you actually see people, like, say that Touhou is, like, town level or something like that, yeah, it's because of Yukari. I don't even... Because this is a good question I was asked earlier during my little when I posted the recording of our live pitch, was do I buy the multiversal or outer stuff for Touhou? And it's I do and I don't. I do not say Touhou is outer. if you had to ask me blindly, since I'm not a heavy researcher for this. I'm just more of I'm a casual fan that just wants to push my favorite series. That kind of stuff. But if you told me specifically, where do I buy these two? I would just say Uni. Just Uni. Maybe Solar System at worst for both, but Uni. I know there is multiversal stuff. We even talked about it with the Scarlet Mist, because apparently I read the Case and Fleetway blog. They brought up the Scarlet Mist. Apparently that goes into 7D, whatever that means. I the series gets wild. What is it? Okay, I'm gonna read the YouTube ones real quick. Dodge bullet shouldn't be bad. It sounds like yep. She is a descendant of Soma Cruz. No, it's specifically Dracula. I wish I could show fan art of Remilia and Drac, because they look like a father and daughter scenario. Like they're just that related. So a bit of corrections. According to SSIB, sunlight isn't actually an instant kill for Remilia. It's kind of smoking burn. Ah, yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I never thought they would actually just have her instantly die to sunlight. It would be kind of funny though. Just wakes up in the morning, just okay, mistress, rise and shine. Accidentally like unfolds the blinds, and immediately she just the dust baby just Suki can throw black holes and Utsuo launches suns. This is unlethal. Nah. I think that's just common. Black holes, you say? No. That's not a black hole. That's just, you know, a rock. That's common Touhou stuff. Don't worry. Was it they need to be broken for them to kill the opponent, but animation would be mostly Demaku anyway. That's what's funny about this. Is I think I talked about this is a MU where I feel like if you're gonna do Touhou on DB, I don't want it specifically be only range combat and that's it. I want hand-to-hand combat. That's why I think Remilia, like, I'm happy she actually was in a fighting game. Because there's no way you're going to do... If she wasn't in a fighting game whatsoever, how the hell are you going to do this MU? Reimu tops Tengu speed because it's Reimu. Yep. Who wrote these small vampires to be that powerful? Well, I can tell you a little fun fact about Remilia. And it's not just Remilia, it's specifically just Zune making Touhou games. I may be wrong on the rumor, but Zune has to get completely wasted in order to make a Touhou game. And if that is true, this man is, like, there's a reason why everyone's inspired by him. Like, my goodness. They both have a weakness to garlic. No. Not Rachel per se. I do know for some reason Rachel has a hate for bell peppers. But there's no such thing as garlic in BlazBlue per se. Remilia just hates the taste of it. It's not like the standard weakness. We already answered the fate manipulation one. I feel like it's underestimating how much the disadvantage Rachel is since she fights with elements like wind, lightning. Remilia can easily outspeed. Yeah. I think that's what makes this MU kind of unique in a way. Is you understand, yeah, she will get like blitzed to all hell. But Rachel's phenomenal intervention, once she just resets it and knows, once she knows like how Remilia works, she kind of will just start overlapping the blitz, per se. Like, oh shoot, I missed that lightning strike and all that. Well, phenomenal intervention. Now she's about to hit that lightning strike. She moves it in a different area, summons the lightning strike, and it hits Remilia. I think that's just funny. Blazewood and Gear to Gale near Runback Suitor. I know someone's pitching Ino Homura. I don't like it, but I do agree with them. I think Guilty Gear needs to return. My problem is with Guilty Gear is Guilty Gear's not that interesting for me. The only two characters I care for is just Slayer and Potemkin, and that's it. Kason is more complex than Remilia, and she be better second than whatever's. That I'm okay with either way going. I respect Carbonics like MU. And that's saying something since I do not like Sonic at all. But Carbonic was somehow able to break that wall down to where I'm actually interested into having that fight happen. Not only that, like the reason why I think I kind of just don't really complain about Kason at all on the show is because she's an Oni. Like no matter Remilia or Kason, we're going to get the Sukiya punching heaven feat talked about, which I think, yeah, that's a win in our books. Was it generally most things are correct and exaggerated, mainly in Bohemian archives, Japanese archives? Aya is a liar. Yeah, I don't trust Aya. I do not trust Aya worth. A boundary between Touhou and the versus battle wiki. I feel like the Outerverse is really, really hard to be brought. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I don't want Yukari, like, at all in the show. I love Yukari. I used to be a pusher for another MU for Yukari. But the more I've hanged out with the Touhou community and the official Death Battle server, I just started not wanting Yukari. Like I think we had I think it was like 2 specific characters we said we do not want on the show at all, and it was Yukari because how she would work and is just very difficult, and Cherno because Cherno is just meme. That's like saying let's get a Mega Man character after these years of not having Mega Man on the show, and it's freaking Cloud Man. Who on earth wants Cloud Man? Kira, shut up. I know you're in the call. What is it, Yukari 6? I feel like the oh yes, the versus battle week is. Totally, you never paid attention in math class, did you? Nope, I sucked at math. No, I think I will not lie. I did suck at math. I mean, Touhou characters are on Mugen, so yeah. So, what are your thoughts on? Okay, let me actually read these. Okay, Cherno versus if it's SMT Alice. I know Cherno Jack Frost is also popular. I just don't want Cherno on the show. Because people just see her as a meme. You could have the most respected thing ever, and people are going to be like, funny ice fairy, 9-ball, lol. It's like my problem with Among Guys is like, the meme is dead, guys. Please stop. I'm a Touhou fan, and I can tell you dearly that I do not find the Cherno 9-ball funny. Hell, like, the Cherno Fumo, everyone, she's basically the icon of, Fumos. But you can look at images. I even talked about this with a certain someone last night, about Fumos, is you can see a lot of a lot of people taking care of, a Remilia Fumo and all that. Taking care of, a Reimu Fumo, of all things. Cherno Fumo, I'm gonna tape that on the wall and deep fry it. I actually know someone who bought it. No, actually, that's the one thing I think should be brought up. Is how, so Rachel's able to put people in, able to seal people away, per se, and Remilia's able to, by fate manipulation, able to exit out of being sealed. You can have it to where Rachel, seals her in a Fumo. Jet was it Jack Buffer? Okay, we said that. Oh, oh, okay. I thought my mic just shut off. Flandre Ellis, without a doubt, I think that's my favorite MU for Flandre. I think, like, at what's a good way of saying this in a way? Because I know if they ever do these pitches thing again, I'm gonna do another MU that's not related to both series. But if I decide to do another Touhou MU, I would immediately do Flandre Ellis. Because Flandre is, like, really, really interesting. I just imagine during, like, their reaction, it's like, I'm just giving them all this bullshit stuff that, like, Flandre's able to do. And then I just respond with, okay, so you remember everything I just said? Now, imagine 4 of them. I think it would be their cool MUs with Touhou fan destroyed to oblivion. I know there's also another SMT MU, which involved Okina. I think it was the Stephen Hawking guy. I think that one's also very interesting. Oh, hi, Cryo. What was it? Do you think that they'll use footage from Memory of Phantasm for Remilia despite them being fanworks? I talked to DJ Tiki about this. One of the editors for Death Battle. They said they're okay using it as background footage. So, yeah, we are in the clear for that one. And I love Tiki. He's a madman. The problem is when it comes to if Touhou ever gets on, I got to speedrun filling his head with certain brain rot of Touhou. Cause the 5 specific things I want, like, for the fight, like for Remilia's segment, if he ever animates it, is do not, and I mean do not reference Hey Mister. The second one is just Scarlet Police. I love Scarlet Police, very funny. That one MV that everyone just kind of uses for Remilia, the one where it's like her in front of the moon with giant wings coming out. Memory Phantasm, Summer Daydream also is easy one. The other one, just Fumos. Just Fumos. I want a ton of Fumos. Actually, you know what? Scratch Fumos, because Fumos is a common, like, everyone knows that's going to be a common trope on there. Waffles. I want waffles. Where's my boy Wagon Works? I know he's a waffle. Get my boy in there. Me looking at the people wanting Yachi on the show. Yeah, good luck getting Yachi on the show. Yeah, where's awesome. Did you know that the Touhou War has started because someone freaking forgot the credit Undertale Bad Apple parody video? Yep, you're a coward, Touhou. I'm not a coward. I am a warrior. I forgot Reddit exists. I gotta go to Reddit. Oh no. And as I say that, I feel like that's where everyone starts ditching. Time to go to Reddit. No, but I asked some people on Reddit as well. I gotta go check that. Okay. So this one actually really interests me, which was for the animation. Just animation, nothing debate-wise. Would you rather have it to be a 1v1 fight or a 2v2 with their respected servants? So, fun fact, I found out with Rachel. Rachel's able to basically summon a clone of a character in BlazBlue. So, during Makoto's story, I think it was in Chrono Phantasm, I may be wrong with this. Depending on which character you get, Rachel was able to make a exact summon of Noelle and Tsubaki, and they fight exactly like them. So what kept running in my mind when I was either at work on break or just making this pitch was this really cool idea, and I don't think it would actually happen, but it just felt raw as hell, which was Rachel summoning characters from the BlazBlue cast, probably like the Six Heroes, and Remilia countering it with the servants of the Scarlet Devil Manor. Like you just have nine the Phantom summoning meters, and it's being countered by either Flandre or Patchouli. Sakia fighting Valkenheim, because you have to do that. I would probably say it's either not 6 heroes, more 5, because I don't think, like, even if he's powerful and all, I don't think Rachel will even summon a Terami. But yeah, no, like, it's specifically a 1v1. Where is Community? Because that one's, like, the last one I've gotta send responses to. And, yeah, where it is. How would you like their rundowns to be like? Just short and simple, really. Like, I think it's more so, like, getting back, like... Because I don't want this to be like, oh, hey, BlazBlue came back, and then, we don't see it ever in the next 10 years. I want it to be like, we want BlazBlue back, and we're actually keeping BlazBlue as a returner. Because, like I said, there's a lot of characters in BlazBlue I would love to see on the show. Iron Tiger, Terami, God forbid, Carl. Like the ideas of how they would rep the characters or even jokes. So, I tried, like, I wish I brought this up to Ben. And a good example of this is how wonky the Touhou series is in terms of its characters. Because a good example of this is, so, you know you're old when you realize finally that Ragna's the only sane character in the series. Like, think about it. Just think about the characters, okay? I'm not going to even say their names, but I think you'll know immediately that, holy shit, Ragna's actually not that, like, edgy at all. He's just very bored. Which is just sister complex, brother complex, sister complex. I fucked a cat. Very hyperactive autistic cat creature. Black goo. Nurse that wants to have sex with black goo. Ninja Mike guy. What was it? I want to be proud as my father. I want to abuse my child. Giant cybernetic robot. I am you from an alternate dimension. I don't even have to, like, go in more. Even Rachel. Tsundere. Very, like, bored tsunderic overseer. Like, the series is wild, and Ragna's, like, the only sane character. Was it even jokes for, like, Remilia? I think what's also, because I think we already were told about this in one of the fireside chats. They're gonna bring back gag reels for Kratos Asura, and I didn't bring it up to them per se, but I kept asking everyone. The idea I want for the gag reels for both characters is, so Wiz just magically has a vial of Scarlet Mist, and he accidentally drops it, and it just shatters, spreading the Scarlet Mist. Another good example is, for Rachel's side is, so there's these glasses that Rachel has, and she has put them on Ragna not once, not twice, but 3 times. And they're called the Spectacles of Arrows, where if once put on, the opposite sex is attracted to you. And the gag for it is, Wiz puts them on to have, like, a harem adventure, only for Jocelyn, the only female on this, like, that works there, isn't even attracted, just roast Wiz. Okay, next question was, is it possible to have voice actors' previous characters, all that, like, who would you have as Rachel or Remilia? I am going to be honest. If it's not Mala Lee for Rachel, I don't want it. I love Mala Lee's voice. You're talking about the queen of tsunderes, literally the voice actor for Rin Tosaka from Fate. If you don't get her on there, there's gonna be some problems. I don't even have to say anything for Remilia. Remilia's always been like a Japanese voice. You've never heard of an English voice actor for Remilia before. What are the contents you do? Okay, what are the contents you do not want? See if the idea becomes a reality. What do I do not want on the show for this? And then it's just Hey Mister. I do not want Hey Mister referenced. Like, God, no. I think what's even funny is, I'm gonna say this, I think people will understand this. I'm happy Jinx Harley didn't, come out later this year. Like, it came out in Season 8, Season 9, I meant. Because I think we all know about that new comic that's coming out for Harley. God forbid if that ever got referenced. It's like that. That's me with Hey Mister. It's like, I do not want them to reference it, because God forbid, if they do, I'm not going to hear it. For an entire month. That's all I'm going to hear, is just Hey Mister. I had to, deal with that for, I think 2 years of my time as a Touhou fan. I don't want to do it again. Anyway, what's this? Okay, this is the last three, okay? Who do you think wins? I don't want to answer that. Do you think Reimu should debut before Remilia? No. I do not want Reimu on the show, I'll be honest. I think, that's why I want Kaisen more than Reimu, because she's just a better Reimu. Since this is usually the Touhou fight, do you believe that this will be the first Touhou fight ever to be put on the show? Yeah. It's that or Case and Fleet. That's why I'm at, after my pitch, I immediately rushed to Kerbonic's DM and just told them, please, Kerbs, my pal, please bring up the, Sukiya Punch Heaven feat, because I didn't in the 10-minute segment. How on earth I was supposed... Okay. Okay, imagine they don't even show Remilia and just show Reimu again like they did with Kaisen during the... God, no! That actually pissed me off! No one has noticed that yet, except me. Was the footage that they would show in the background of the Tournament of Champions would show a little teaser of the characters and all that. Luz Ann, it's just them and they're the new form they were given. All that was, I think, I forgot what it was for, Korakuma. I think it was just them, laughing in some way. Was it? For Kaisen Fleetway, it was Reimu they showed, not Kaisen. It was just Reimu's, what's it? I forgot what they're called. It was Urban Legend? No, Lost World. It was, their last word. Getting Serial on the show. What are your thoughts on Reimu versus Arl? I like it. I will say this. Again, I keep saying Reimu doesn't need to be on the show. I think Reimu is a very interesting character. It's just that does not need to be in a versus show, research-wise. Because all of her good MUs are ones that are not researched. Because I love Reimu versus Madoka. I know that MU is bad for certain people. I love it. Arl's also a good one. That one's also a good one. Apparently, Doctor Strange is now a thing for Reimu. I do not like it. I think that's what I think I'll say this specifically for Touhou. I think Touhou versus Dragon Ball, DC, or Marvel are not interesting to me. I think if you're gonna get the Bullet Hell series on the show, have it to where it fights either another indie game or just another bizarre series. Um, Summoning Terra with the lead of the winner is Metal Sonic. Ending. Yep, the winner is Terra me. It makes it even funnier because you know if Hawkman dies, like he gets Susanoo. Besides Rachel Millionflower, what Touhou would you like to see next? Okay, so I have like I used to have like a shit ton of Touhou MUs in my most wanted. Then after hanging out with Carbonic and Fujiwara, another pusher for Case and Fleet, the MUs in order for like Touhou, like top 5 for me is just Rachel Remilia, Case and Fleet. I want Utsuho on the show. I think the Sun God would be kind of funny. I would say Yukari, but I do not want Yukari in the show anymore. Maybe? I know Sakya without a doubt is getting she's a high chance on here. I think what people don't know per se is a good I think this is also another connection for both Rachel and Amelia is both of them are like a reason why a certain character has their powers per se. Remilia is the reason why Sakya has the time stop and all that, and Ragna is the reason behind why he has the Azure. Yeah. The hilarious the Dragon Ball is every god just ignored. And then there's Amane who is straight to his powers. I don't want to bring that up. It's funny that Fart Harley might actually be a win cut. No. I do not listen. I already saw someone said like, "What is the origin of the Joker Venom?" and someone showed that screenshot. I want to kill them. Okay, so here's a fun question. If there's Residence against Tokyo, who would fight? Residence against Tokyo. No, like straight up. I don't know what's wrong with the series. It's just weird. That's that was just blatantly okay. So what MU that you kind of hate it with all your heart? What's the MU that I just like despise? You know what's funny? I don't want Yukari in the show, but I blatantly, absolutely hate Yukari Giratina. I love both characters, like I love both characters dearly. Like they're based like if I had to describe Yukari Giratina, it's just the other side of the coin for Rachel Remilia. Where I love an MU dearly, and then the other side is just I hate this MU with the bottom of my heart. Because people kind of don't know this, but Giratina does not even get that high. It's kind of funny how people are saying he's like comp multi at best and all that. Says that he scales to Arceus. Okay, then explain people, why the hell are you having Arceus at uni? That does not make sense. He's the reason behind the creation trio. No, he ain't. Giratina to the creation trio is like you're doing a school project and then there's that one pothead kid just smoking in the back. He's not even doing any of the project. He's just there. That's Giratina. Like I love Giratina. My favorite Pokemon. I gotta bring this up, but there was like a Twitter post of someone saying without saying their name, describe your favorite Pokemon, and all the Giratina fans are just saying Hail Satan. I love Giratina very much. That's why I'm kind of asking Akira to like, hey, I want to like emulate Pokemon so I can do a Platinum stream. I haven't played Platinum, but I want to see my boy. It's that kind of thing. Now, Yukari, because people don't know this about Yukari, but people are saying that her powers don't work in the distortion world do not know what the heck a boundary is, because everything needs a boundary. But yeah. What time is it? Because apparently I gotta go to a Christmas party sometime. Check something. I think what I'm gonna do is ask 10 more questions, and then I'm gonna end the stream there. Yeah. Okay. Yates check goes hard. Shut up, Spees! I know you put $1,000 on your track. I can still say it's mid. Oh, the Pokemon. Oh, but your favorite track from Brandon Yates and Therewolf? My favorite track from both Brandon and Therewolf. The thing is, I can't say much with Brandon because I stopped listening to his music. I think after he added the God Mode tracks, most of the tracks just feel kind of mid. The only one I've ever like keep coming back to from Brandon is it was the Azure Lane Contai collection tracks. The recent two, not I think I forgot what they were called. I think it was called like the Fleet like Calls Back or something. No, the Depths Call Back. Yeah, it's that one. Depths Call Back. I love that one. Therewolf one. I love every single Therewolf track. I think a good example to show how much like Therewolf nails music is Raiden versus Raiden Shogun versus Raiden. That one. I actually hate that MU. I think it's very terrible and all that. And then here he comes with the steel chair of like the best music I've ever heard. There is no such thing as a bad Therewolf track. I will say like I didn't bring it up per se because I wanted to avoid it, but I will argue this with Rachel Remilia's track. I do not like the track name. Like, people think it's good until you realize that the definition for Ladies of the Night means prostitutes. And considering that this MU is about little lolly vampires, you kind of see where I kind of drop it. Yeah. That's why I kind of like ask people. It's like, if you ever ask me what my preferred track name for this, it's just Scarlet Rose. Because it's a more official like name for it. Plus, not only that, considering it being Gothic Orchestra, it kind of just fits that tone of music. Like, you just look at the name and you know it's like, oh, Gothic Orchestra. You wouldn't be the first one. Will the Driller, you're wrong. Will the Driller, you're wrong. I heard people unironically call it shit. Well, damn. I think what I'll say this piece because I talked to Mega about this is I think I love Homer Eno's vocal more than Date with the Devil. Outside of that, Date with the Devil takes it. Therewolf just matches Touhou style way better than Brand. Yeah, it does. Track name is kind of cringe. I agree. Wait for your Yates track. I think what's funny is because I talked to Tank about this, and I kind of want to say this with this MU, and why I love this MU kind of dearly, is you kind of don't have Dio Alucard is grounded. I will actually say that. We have a lot, and I mean a lot of vampire characters that have other, like, MUs. Like, a good example is Slayer Dimitri, Alucard D. Trying to think of another one, but along with this one as well. Rachel Remilia is the one where it goes into very, very high tier shit. Like I know people are gonna bring up Strive scaling for Slayer. I don't buy that, but that's mostly because I do not like Strive. Alucard D. As much as I love Castlevania, I think Alucard's not that interesting. Like it's just Daddy Drac and that's it. Give me a Belmont, please. I think What else? So total question, what's your thoughts on Case and Fleetway? I think it's all right. I I keep trying to avoid the question of like should Case and Fleetway or Rachel Amelia, which ones should be the first Touhou? Like I will only ask people. I think Rachel Amelia should be the first, so we get an introduction to Touhou, then Case and Fleetway, so we can get a wild, bizarre episode. Hell, no, I don't say this for Gerbonic per se, but the reason why I want Touhou like this one first is, and this shows how like how I kind of like prefer like go over my friends over just myself in terms of like opinion wise. I think Case and Fleetway should get a better episode. That's why it should be the second Touhou rep. Because once they learn how Touhou works, they actually can understand it, how they can get the high tier stuff in. I think what's funny, so I didn't bring this up, and more I'm looking at it, I kind of like forgot to say this. So I never cared about like if like the pitch recording was uneventful or disappointing. The only problem I had with it is, so if you look in the bottom left corner of the video or the slide, there I made this art for Ben called The Wizard. This was supposed to be for the video pitch, which again I wasn't able to finish, but I took my time and dedication working on this art to where, can I show a full version of this before we end it off? But like I was like I don't care if like they don't like the like MU or not. I just want to get Ben's live reaction. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna show this. There we go. The Wizard. One day it'll come up, yeah. Well, if you usually create MUs, then what MU that you kind well regretting making? MU I regret making is, funny enough, is my top 20th most wanted. And that's Oni Susanoo. It literally was just made for Unga Bunga Final Boss. That's it. And then a guy by the name of Worthy Boy Kevin. God, I miss that guy so much. Kind of just found more connections to it, and then out of nowhere it started getting popular. He's telling you to hop in it. No, he's telling me to hurry the F up. He's telling me, like, I have 5 minutes on my pitch. Hurry! Yeah, no, I see a shit ton of messages from family saying, where am I at the party? Okay, so I'm gonna end it off here. Been very much enjoyable talking about that. I thought I would screw up. I did screw up originally. I just want to say, dearly, this MU means so much to me. I'm happy I was able to pour everything out. I wasn't even trying to stall, like, getting an hour out of it. No, this unironically was just me pouring my ever-dearing love for this MU out to you all. It may not have probably been interesting, per se, but I'm just more happy to explain this to you all. If you guys start liking this MU, I'm happy to know this very much. Very dearly, yeah. What's funny is I would like to do this more often with other MUs I like, because I know on the 26th we're doing Homer Kurumi for Spees. I want to ask Tank. I'm not a fan of it, but however, I want to actually get him, another casual fan, out of the way for this. I want to talk about Knuckles Piccolo. I think that one would also be interesting to discuss live to everyone. But let's say my pitch wasn't at like I would say that interesting like 096 Touhou and Omori Room, but I will say this dearly, this meant the world to me. I may not have put 50 like slides into one pitch discussing everything about them, but this the slide was just meant for literally everything about this. 13 years. But yeah, thank you all so dearly much. Well, yeah, I see one more question for you. People remember the DB Season 8 Part 2 teaser? No, we're not bringing up the Season 8 Part 2 teaser. Do you usually feel that Sakia's Emu spread sucks? I'm gonna be honest. My preferred for Sakia is still Homura. Because I think Sakia Hick is hot gabahe. Sakia versus Death is interesting, but Alucard's right there. Plus, not only that, it doesn't even feel that. I think Sakia just carries music in terms of like Castlevania matchups. Is there any good Emu from Alice Margaret? I'm not bringing Carl. I know people are going to tell you Carl. I'm going to tell you this. She does not. No. Stay out here. No. Run, boy, run. Very agreeable, fortunately. But yeah, no. So I'm gonna end it off here because I got a party to go to. So I just want to say thank you all so much for joining. I hope I could do this again with another MU. Merry Christmas as well. Hope you all have a happy, wonderful holiday.